Hello, Eid Mubarak. It's actually 2 to 3 days after Eid. And this is another one of those videos where I give an update, but I have a lot of backstory. First of all, I think this is the prettiest I've looked on this channel. And considering that it did not take me a lot of time to put this look together, I think I look really pretty. Moment of silence for the earrings. This, can you see? And then I've always had this. And yeah, it's given natural beauty. It's given flawless. And I think this is my way of celebrating Eid because I really did not do anything for Eid. I did not even dress up. I didn't go anywhere. So I think this is my little celebration because YouTube is my baby. That's my best friend. So dressing up for this video is making me happy. Am I even dressing up? This is actually not dressing up, but just looking extra pretty than I normally do on this channel. So basically, it's another one of my update videos where I talk about things that have happened since my last update, which was 20th March. Today is 2nd April. A few things have happened and I just want to talk about them. So first of all, guys, I was actually really hungry and I decided to make granola. Oh my God, one more thing. This is the first time I'm actually filming in the living room. I normally film in my room all the time. So I don't know, it feels nice to change my space. I'm sitting on the couch and it's 4 in the morning. I don't know why I always record late at night because I'm mostly always sleeping. I had to make some granola to give myself energy for this video because if not, I would keep procrastinating on making it. So the first section we're going to talk about is basically ending of Ramadan and Eid reflections. Nothing really happened, but I feel really good about how I ended my Ramadan. It was definitely not perfect, but especially for the last 10 days, what I love about it is I feel like I really showed up. I didn't force myself to be perfect. I did not let perfectionism or feeling like I did not do enough stop me from showing up. So yes, what I could do, I did, and I trust and I know that it's for Allah, it's not us being perfect or doing so much. So I am hoping and praying that all my du'as and prayers are answered and Allah forgives me and everything. And I know that inshallah, all my prayers are answered. I'm happy that all through the last 10 days, I did not even actually check to see which one is the odd nights or even nights. I don't do that. I just make sure that every night I do what I'm supposed to do. Funny enough, this Ramadan, I was talking about how last Ramadan I was in Bristol and I had a long list of du'as. And funny enough, this year, my du'as are actually longer. The list just keeps expanding. So that is interesting. I actually have a lot of materialistic things in my dua this year. Last year, I was going through a lot and I had more important things to worry about. So my dua list was very serious. But this year, alhamdulillah, the burden has shifted a bit. I had the energy to wish for more materialistic things. So I have told Allah that I want. Is it okay for me to say my duas? I think it's okay. I'm not saying everything, but I'm just saying the materialistic ones is I want a DJI camera. I prayed that I don't know, I don't have the money now, but I pray to Allah that one way or the other through him, I get to buy that DJI camera. And because you know how sometimes I try to keep reminding myself that I shouldn't limit myself when I'm asking Allah for something, because the logical me thinking, because the logical me was like, I wanted other things, but I'm like, oh, this is too much. How do I get the money? And I had to remind myself, Zainab, you're asking Allah, you're not asking a human being. Nothing is too much for him. So I told him that I want to buy a new phone and I want a new MacBook and other things. So yeah, like these are like the very specific materialistic things that I ask for. There are other things, but these ones, and the me is like, and the me in my head is like, ah, this is too much. Like realistically, for my bank account, this is too much. But then I know that for my Rob, it's not too much, and anything can happen. So I have prayed about it and many other things. So hopefully, inshallah. And that is that. And then sadly, Ramadan ended, and I didn't do anything for Eid. I didn't go anywhere, nothing fancy. So I don't know what to say. That was how this is the fanciest thing I have done for Eid. Basically looking this pretty, but I have been looking normal. So alhamdulillah. And I think that's one of the sad things about spending Eid abroad. Because if I was in Nigeria, it would definitely be a lot of wearing atamfa and looking pretty and just eating nam and salah, stuff like that. Let me not get sad, but let's get back into the video. So my plans for after Ramadan, now that Ramadan is over, I definitely want to get back on my health journey. I was taking this thing very lightly, but I can literally feel that I am actually gaining weight. Before I was gaslighting myself and I'm like, oh no, Zainab, but now I need to be serious. Yeah, so basically I want to sit down and create like healthy diets, just routines around it in a sustainable way where I'm able to still eat things that I love and just I don't want to be too strict on myself. I want this to be a lifestyle thing, not a dieting thing. Does that make sense? So I'll mix and match and see what works. Hopefully, I am able to get that on track. The next thing in terms of physical activity is I still haven't started working. I don't know when I'm going to start, but I think before then, I don't want to register for a gym now because that would just be me adding a lot to my plate. But I'm thinking of going not on walks, but on runs. But what I would start is I would start with walks, then jogs, then runs. That's something I want to incorporate. So that's that. The next thing I want to talk about is things I am looking forward to. First of all, it's honestly just my YouTube channel. I don't know. I really love this channel. I have a few series that I want to start, or I have already started. First of all, is my University of Bristol series, and just talking about Bristol in general. I have two videos that I am writing the script for. Guys, writing scripts for videos is just so difficult. And then there's just so much planning that I'm doing. I have to write the script properly, make sure I'm writing the right thing, and then do a lot of research and also like the thumbnail description. It's just a lot. But when I'm in that whole process, it's just so nice. I get immersed in this whole world of writing the script and research, a whole lot of things. So that is definitely fun for me. It keeps me busy considering I'm not doing anything now. I'm just waiting to start my job. So that is good. It makes me feel like I'm not wasting time. Like I'm not just wasting my life away. It makes me feel like I am doing something. I'm creating something. I'm achieving something, especially when I upload a video or I'm done editing a video or I am done writing a script. It's a nice feeling. And the next series I want to start is book reviews. One of my goals was reading more books. So I think a way of just making sure that I am retaining the information I am learning is I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking summarizing a chapter of a book I'm reading, or maybe finding, especially if it's books that are maybe more educational or self-help books, so finding simpler ways to explain them. I'm still playing around with the idea, but I'll see how that works. So I am looking forward to that. I have made one video. Oh God, I'm so dramatic. I actually read a page that was from a book that was talking about heartbreak, and I was really sad that day and I was in my feelings. So I just decided to incorporate that idea that I had a long time ago and just record a video. And this is what I love about this whole YouTube thing. I keep saying it and repeating myself, but it literally heals me. It makes me feel better because after it was just a funny video. After I was done recording, then I felt better and I was making jokes at the end of the video, and I came out to make chips. And then I started recording another video about how I'm making chips. A lot of craziness, but you should check that video out. That was fun. I titled it something about heartbreak. And the last thing I'm looking forward to is starting my job. It's, guys, I have so much anxiety. I'm really getting worried. Like this, I feel like I'm going through another punishment, or not punishment, but just waiting phase, because it's taking so long for my DBS to get back. It's just a long process. I just have to wait. I have no control over it, but I still wouldn't have it any other way. I would rather go through this waiting process than the waiting process of applying for jobs and waiting for interviews or stuff like that. So Alhamdulillah, I'm not complaining. So moving on, the next section is things that made me happy. The thing that made me happy is migraine patches. So someone gave me migraine patches as a gift. I've had a long history of always having migraine attacks, and it's something I've struggled with for the past almost 15 years now. And someone gave them to me as a gift. They bought it from Boots, and for the first time I used them and I put them here, it just felt nice. It was really a nice feeling because I had a very severe headache one day during Ramadan, and just having that, I don't know, it just made me feel really good. It was just a nice thing to have apart from taking meds and just staying in bed, because migraine is a very horrible thing, honestly. The next thing that made me really happy, so happy, was my friend came to visit. I don't know if I said it in one of my videos, but then she came from Bristol and she spent 2 days with me. And guys, I was really happy. It was really nice to have someone constantly around. I'm not really a people person, but it was just nice to have someone to share the same space with, someone who is a good friend that I really care about and who I had shared memories with when I was in Bristol, because I met her during my master's. She was my classmate, and we've, funny enough, built a very good relationship after the master's. We didn't do much activities because she came when I was fasting, so I already told her ahead that I would have very low energy. I just showed her around. Oh my God, she took me to Nando's to break my iftar. So that was really nice. First day, not much happened. The second day was a bit more adventurous because little info. So I have had this idea around November to color my hair, and I kept thinking about it, but I just didn't get to doing it. So when she came, I was just like, oh my God, you could actually color my hair. At least someone would help me. So we went out the second day and we went to Boots to get hair dye. It was really difficult because I don't know, I didn't really do much research, unfortunately, and there just weren't much options. When I checked on TikTok, there was a specific type of dye that was for black hair, but I didn't find it in Boots. So it was just, I don't know, all the brands I was seeing there did not look like they were suited for my hair, honestly. And there wasn't just a lot of variation. But in the end, I decided to go for a semi permanent dye. And I should have known earlier because I didn't do much research. Now I know that that wouldn't work for me because semi-permanent dye apparently doesn't work for black hair, so I have to get permanent dye. But I was just really scared of getting permanent dye because I didn't do research. So after we got the dye, we went to Poundland. My friend had this idea of, she just felt like having ice cream. You guys, people that are lactose intolerant are so stubborn. She is lactose intolerant, but she wanted ice cream, and she said she wanted to have it with muffins. So there's this combo where you have muffins and ice cream. I used to have something like that in India from a restaurant called Cream Castle, but then I did not have it in a while. And she's also Indian, so it just reminded me. So it just felt nice. We went to Poundland, we got a big tub of ice cream, and I already had muffins at home from Tesco. We also got a set from Poundland that had a bowl and some brushes. So it's like a dyeing set. So it was just funny. We did not buy a bag. So we were walking around and then there was a bowl and ice cream. We just had a lot of stuff in our hands. It just looked cute and it just looked nice as we were carrying the stuff. The view also looked really nice. The sky, everything looked really pretty. We also branched kukuru. Guys, I'm getting obsessed with kukuru too much. And she's never had it. So I recommended something from them and we got 2 bowls of kukuru. And we came back home. I broke my fast. We ate the kukuru. It was really nice. And then came the process of dyeing my hair. Guys, it was just so funny. I was worried about staining the carpet. She was sectioning it. She also had never done anything like that. And she's way older than me. So she just kept telling me that she wasn't enthusiastic about the idea. I forced her into, she just kept telling me, Zainab, are you a kid? Why do you want to? It was just a funny thing. And then we did it. I actually didn't want to dye the whole hair. So it was just like the tips. So let's say half of the hair. It was just a whole lot of trial and error because none of us knew what we were doing. But in the end, it looked really nice, guys, when she was done applying everything. I took pictures, although I cannot put the pictures here. To cut the whole story short, sadly, the dye did not show up because, like I said, I should have done research to know that semi-permanent dye would not show up on my hair. So immediately I washed it. Guys, it was as if as I was washing it, my whole bath was red, but then there was nothing red on my head. It was as if I did not put anything, which was really sad. If I'm being honest, I don't regret it because it's something that I have been wanting to do. And just the experience just made me happy. I'm glad I did it. And it's something that I definitely want to do again, but I would have to be more intentional now and make sure I do a lot of research. I would most likely have to do it on my own. But it was just £9. The stuff was £9. I don't really regret it. I'm glad that I did it. I got it out of there because it's an itch. So now I don't feel eager or pressured. I'll just do it in my own time. And then lastly, we ended the day with making the muffins and ice cream. It was really nice. I loved making it. It made me remember when I used to have something like that in India. So that was really nice. So first you warm the muffin in the microwave, you put it in a bowl and then you add the ice cream and you take it together. It's just, it tastes really nice. Unfortunately, I did not like the idea of having that huge bowl of ice cream in my home because she couldn't finish it. We couldn't finish it. So for the next 2 days, I just kept having that combination. And now the ice cream has actually finished. So that's good. So we're done with that section. The next section is lessons that I have learned. Guys, I'm always learning new things in my head. I sit down and I think about something. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Or like, there's just a lot that's always happening in my head. I'm someone who's always reflecting and thinking. So there are always new things that form in my head or just from things I'm reading or watching. And I come to certain conclusions. So the first one is learning that I won't always be surrounded by warmth and being okay with the uncomfortability and sitting with the conflict. I know this it's a bit not structured, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes whenever I feel uncomfortable or there's some tension, I feel like I've said this before, I'm always trying to fix it. How can I make this better? How can I don't want this. I don't like this tension, but I need to learn that I would not always be surrounded by warmth. I would have people around me, things would happen. It would not always be comfortable. There are times where I would feel uncomfortable, and I need to learn to be okay with that and sit with that uncomfortability. Be okay that there's conflict and not let it bother me mentally or affect how I do things. I'm finding this really hard because I don't like conflict. I don't like feeling uncomfortable, and conflict makes me feel uncomfortable, or when I feel like there's tension around and I'm just always trying to fix it. How can I make this better? This needs to stop. But I need to learn that I can't always have control over that. And there are times that there would be conflict and it's okay. I need to just let it go. I need to just let things simmer down on their own or just watch how things unfold. I think it's also me wanting to have control over things. So just letting go. I don't want this to be too long. The second lesson is nobody is coming to save me. And this is a tough one because although I know that I am someone who is hardworking and disciplined, I have really worked hard for things that I have achieved. But there's a subconscious part of me that tends to go 60% or 70% on things because in my head, I'm waiting for either if it's people around me to make things easy for me or expecting or not doing the best that I can in something because I know that I have backup. I don't know how to explain this. So, for example, let's say maybe expecting people in my life who, let's say, I counted on to be there for me when I am sad or having certain expectations of people to check up on me because they know that I am at a difficult phase in my life. And it's not bad for me to expect that because these are people that I love and you have certain expectations of people that are important to you. But then I think sometimes I tend to get really upset and let that dictate how I act because I'm holding on to, oh, this person should have done this for me. This person should have asked me how I am doing. This person is my person. They should have checked up on me. They should have called me or shown more interest in wanting to teach me this thing because I would do the same for you. So it's having this expectation of knowing that I would do the same for this person. So I'm also expecting that they would do the same for me. These people would do the same for me. They would check up on me. They would want to help me because they have more knowledge and information about the thing. But then I need to tell myself that they don't owe me that. Even though to an extent they do, they are family, but it's like I'm expecting them to save me. So to an extent, I think even sometimes it's like me not going full in with doing research about certain things or learning about certain things because I feel like, oh, this person that I know has this information. And I don't think it's a bad thing that I did that then because sometimes you trust people around you to make things easier for you. What's the essence of having family and friends if they don't make life easy for you? But I needed to learn that these people can't save me. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I know what I'm trying to say. But I needed to learn that once I realized that these people are not going to do anything, I shouldn't have spent so much time sulking and being upset and angry at the fact that they weren't there for me. And I should have just moved on and put in more effort and tried to get things done. In the end, all worked out. I got over it and I did all the things I was supposed to do. And this whole nobody is coming to save me. It's not only in this aspect, like there are other aspects of my life that sometimes I tend to do things a bit halfway. And to me, it's like I am doing it all the way, but then there's a little part of me that knows that I'm holding back. I'm not reaching my full potential in achieving this thing or working on this thing because I'm expecting or I know that someone is going to save me. Another thing is also not putting so much effort into something that I want or not going full throttle on that thing because I know that if I fail or if I don't get it, I have backup. I think this is it. Knowing that if I fail, I would have backup or expecting that backup, which could come in terms of like parents, my dad most specifically. But then I need to learn that this is my life. That type of life I want to live, I need to like actually wake up and grab the bull by the horns, whatever the English is, and jump into things and be more proactive and be so dedicated in what in pursuing whatever I want as if I don't have backup. Because now I'm realizing that yes, I struggled, yes, I worked hard, but then I could have done better. I know that there was much more effort I could have put in, but I did not because I knew I had backup. And I want to remind myself that if I keep going with this mindset, I won't reach my full potential. There are a lot of things that I won't achieve or I won't go for because I'm going through the easy route when it gets difficult and just quitting because I know that my parents would be there for me or someone would be there for me. But then that is not the life that I want to live with the way I see myself and things I want to do and achieve in future. The Zainab that is going to get there would not be acting like I can't get there with this mindset and attitude. Does that make sense? So I hope that wasn't too scattered or rambled. I did not even plan on going so deep into that. Because honestly, I just wrote nobody's going to save me. So I don't know how we got here, but let's just move on from that. I hope all that I said made sense. The next lesson is not letting little things stress me and not just making a big deal out of them. I tend to unnecessarily just stress myself over little things. I make a huge deal out of things that are not even a big deal. So, for example, something as little as if I don't reply a lot of messages and I have pending unread messages, I'm in my head, although, yes, I'm not replying it, And people think that I'm just okay with not replying it, but they don't know that it actually stresses me. And I keep thinking about, oh, I haven't replied. People are looking at me as a bad person. Oh my God. I put so much pressure on myself. I'm just giving you an example. And I think it's not a big deal. Nobody's going to die if I don't reply their message. The problem is not that I did not reply the message. The problem is that it's taking a toll on me mentally, because I actually even put it as a to-do list, and I'm like, oh, I need to reply this. If I don't reply, and looking at it, it's not a big deal. Why am I making it a big? Why am I letting it stress me? It would be okay if, yes, I just don't reply messages and I let it go. But then I keep thinking about it, and I have it like as such a huge task that's hovering over my head, and I don't feel like I don't want to, but then I'm now stressing over not wanting to. Does that make sense? So there are little things that it's not only about the text, but there are little things in my life that sometimes they're not that much of a big deal if I look at it, but then I let them stress me. So the next lesson is doing things just because I want to. And I saw this on TikTok, and the person was like, just because you want to, there's no other reasons. Because sometimes it's like, if I want to do something, I tend to try to rationalize it. What is the disadvantage? What is the effects? How would people see it? Honestly, it's really that. How would people see it? How would I look? Stuff like, and now it's like, this whole thing is like, just because I want to. Even sometimes, even myself, I can't even justify it, but it's just something I feel like, it's something I want to. And that's enough reason. I feel like this is such a cool thing for someone to incorporate in their life, because yes, we know we're adults. I know good, I know bad. So I can clearly differentiate if this is really a bad thing or a good thing. So I'm just talking about little things and just random things in life that you just feel like doing, but sometimes you don't do them because of how you would look, or because normally people don't do it. And now it's like, especially this dyeing my hair thing, it's literally just because I wanted to. And the reason why I did not do it for almost 4 to 5 months now is I just kept thinking, and to even think about it, I don't even open my hair. I don't post my hair on social media. So why did I even keep procrastinating on it? But it's also thinking like, people around me, what would they think of me? Would they think that, oh, I'm going through a crisis, or I'm heartbroken? That's why I did my hair. And it's not something that's normally done from our side. So it's like, but I'm just doing it just because I want to. And I would actually do it again. If I had gotten the permanent one and it stayed, I would still be happy with it. So basically, all I am saying is doing things just because you want to. That's enough reason. Just because you want to. As long as you're not harming anyone or yourself. I'm so weird, honestly. Why did I reduce the amount of times I eat kukuru under the lessons I have learned? I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm eating this kukuru thing so much. So I don't think it's a lesson. Maybe it was a mistake. I wrote it here, but maybe it should have been in another section. But that's that. The next section is things I want to buy or bought that got me excited. The first one is I want to buy a vacuum cleaner. At the time of recording this video, I have already bought the vacuum cleaner, and I'm so happy about it. It's actually two things that I bought together, a vacuum cleaner and a mattress protector. Apparently, I don't have a mattress protector, and I had removed my bed sheet, and it was not looking good because when I moved in, they bought a new mattress, so it did not come with it. So I got one. It looked really nice on the bed, and it made the bed more comfy. The next thing I'm so happy about is the vacuum cleaner. It took me so long to get a vacuum cleaner. I actually thought it was going to be something that was very expensive, but this was just like £30, so it wasn't a lot. And it was just fun, honestly. I loved unboxing it, using it on my carpet. If I'm being honest, the reason why it took me so long to buy a vacuum cleaner, I feel like I'm married or something like that, because all these whole buying these house things, when I was in the student accommodation, all the places I lived in as a student, I didn't really need to get all these stuff. Does that make sense? So I just kept procrastinating. I'm like, Zainab, do you really need this? If I was in Nigeria, I'll just use a broom, since, yeah, they don't have it here. So I have never seen it. Maybe they do. So I decided to get the vacuum cleaner because I felt like the carpet in my room was, I don't know, I have been here for 2 months, and I kept using lint roller to remove the dirt. And I was like, well, you need to get something. So I'm good I was able to get something that wasn't too expensive. £30 was okay. And it actually is strong. I love the suction and everything. It was fun to do. So the next thing, I've actually gotten all these things, most of them, because I write these lists as time goes on. The next one is a hard disk. And guys, I actually have the hard disk here. So I got a hard disk. See, unfortunately, it doesn't. I love when I buy things. I like when they look pretty. This isn't nice. It doesn't look pretty, but then it gets the job done. Another reason why I got it is because of this. The other ones, I don't know the name, but they're weird and they're not really compatible with my MacBook and iPad. I would have to get another wire to connect it. So this was more feasible. It's 1 terabyte and it just makes my life easy, considering my storage on both my devices are all actually 3 of my devices are all getting full. So I'm able to just record a video, put it here, and then when I am ready to edit it, do that, store a lot of things, organize my videos. Very nice. It has actually fast tracked my whole video and editing process, because I'm just able to store things, and I don't know, it just makes things a lot easier. The next thing is one that I want to buy, like I said, is my DJI camera. Is it DJI or DG? I don't know. But I hope I'm able to get it. I don't have a date or timeline. I don't even have the money, but hopefully, I know I have prayed about it in my du'as for Ramadan last 10 nights, and I know it will be done, inshallah. The next one is YouTube lights. So now I just have actually a selfie light, and so far the lighting of my house is not bad. I also have a lamp. I don't know if I can show you. Sometimes I use my lamp. I actually can show you. I think it's a really pretty lamp. I like it. So I plan on making more value-based videos, which are like more serious. Oh my god, you guys. I'll soon be talking like more serious way because it's more information based, especially with my University of Bristol videos. So because I tend to film in the nights, I don't want to rely on with those videos. I would rather make them in the afternoon with good sunlight. But I don't want to rely on that. So I want to have good lights for backup. But I just don't want to buy lights. I want to make sure that I have done my research, which is also taking time. So I need to sit down and do research on the right light to buy. And then I would get that. The last thing is curtains. Guys, I swear to God, I'm suffering a lot. I really need curtains in my room, but let's not get into it. Now, at this point, we've reached the stage where I have put one wrapper, one whole bed sheet, and one more wrapper. That's two wrappers to cover my blinds, to show you how big that curtain is. Imagine one whole bed sheet and two wrappers, and still there's light coming in. So hopefully I am able to get the curtains. What's stopping me is, first of all, the right equipment, the drill. I need a drill. My landlord is not being cooperative. I just want to save a little to make sure that I get quality ones. So I think we're done with this section. There's nothing here. So the last section is a quote I recently learned or read somewhere that made me pause. Basically, that's what I wrote. Little disclaimer, it's not really a quote. So I was watching a TikTok video, and then someone said this in their video, and this is not even the main focus of their video. It was just a thing they said when they were trying to drive a point about something else. So, but when they said it, it just made me pause, and I was like, oh, I don't know. It just, and unfortunately, I can't remember who the TikToker, their handle is. I would have pinned it, but it's a guy, and I think he is Nigerian, something like that. But he said, who would you be if you were the only one on the planet, if nobody was watching you? Who would you be if your opinion is the only opinion that mattered? I don't want to go into a whole explanation about this specific quote, but just think about that. Let it simmer. Think about it. I think it's actually a really thought-provoking thing that he said. So this is the end of this video. I love this. This is the second video I'm making about this whole life update series that I am starting, which is really nice. My iPad is basically on, I think, 4 or 3%. So I would have to end this. I don't have any other thing to say. It was really fun to do Eid Mubarak. This is our third day of Eid. Oh my God, last thing. I was talking about things that I am obsessed with or things that I like. It's this shortbread biscuit from Sainsbury's. I really like it. I really do. There's this shortbread biscuit in Nigeria. It tastes similar, so I have been having a lot of it, and that's that. I'm glad to tick off. You guys, I actually go about my day whenever something interesting, to show how committed I am up with this whole thing, life update video about making notes of things that I think about or interest me, stuff like that. I actually have a notes on my notes where I write things. So you see, I don't know, I just love it. I'm so cutesy. But yeah, I'm done. Don't forget to share and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.